Why buy souvenirs on a trip when you can make your own? My little souvenir of Amsterdam. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. This is vlog number 408 for May the 12th, 2025, and today's the day we leave for Holland for 2 weeks. So there won't be another one of these kind of vlogs for a couple of weeks. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I can tell you're broken up about this. Well, let's move right on into what I am working on and what I'll be coming home to work on in a couple of weeks' time. And this is what I call the gnome landscape. And what I'm doing here, and I'm actually making this into a video series, excuse me, that I will be showing when we get back home and I get it done. This is a combination of different embroidery projects. So the background is a landscape wall hanging quilt, designs by Juju. I believe it was designs by Juju. Don't quote me on that. And it's basically, excuse me, frog. It is basically a series of tiles. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be 25 tiles in this, and you can see the seam lines going around where they're attached, and that's all it is. But and I thought, well, let's make it into a more personal project. And so, and you know how I love gnomes, so I got some of my gnome files out, and I'm sort of doing it on the theme of gnomes and sunflowers, because there's sunflowers in the center picture, there's sunflowers in the gnomes at the top, and we can pretend that it's sunflowers in the little bike baskets as well. I've done some things wrong. I did do some planning for this beforehand, and that plan's gone right out the window, so I'm kind of making it up as I go along. The sunflower up at the top center right now, that's appliqued on top of this. So all of these things I'll be talking about in the video, and basically showing you how you can take several different embroidery designs and make something that's personal to you. You know, you don't have to follow a definite someone else's plan, put it that way. So there are 2 more rows to create on this. I might get a few more of the tiles made today before I leave for our big trip to Holland. Yes, we are leaving today for the Netherlands, and the limo comes to pick us up at 5 o'clock this afternoon, my time, and take us to the airport, and we fly out at 9 p.m. My time as well, and arrive in Amsterdam, excuse me, around 11 o'clock their time. So yeah, so that's about all that I've been up to. I mean, I've been packing, making sure I have all the stuff. Am I packed yet, you're going to ask? Nope. I've got things laid out. I got a laundry in right now because I need a few extra pairs of undies as well. And as we said yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, if you did not see that, we're doing things a little differently than we've ever done before on a trip. We're going very, very light, and we don't pack a lot to start with on any of the trips we've been going on in the last few years. But this is even lighter because we're not taking suitcases. We're taking a medium-sized backpack, one that you could carry on to an airplane, but we're not. We're going to check that. And that'll have the bulk of our stuff, our clothes and things like that. And then we have little tiny backpacks that will fit under the seat on the airplane. And they're going to hold, well, in my case, my electronics and, you know, the stuff you should keep with you at all times. Medications, things like that. So, yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm putting out what I think I can pack. And if I can't get it all in, then I'm going to have to do some weeding. So that's next on the agenda, but I want to do this one last vlog first thing today, because yeah, I won't be doing these ones when we're over there, but there will be stuff, there will be videos, so make sure you click the little bell to get notifications and check in periodically. I plan to do maybe one video every other day, or I may do a video every day, short ones about what we had seen that day, so it's sort of a recap of our day kind of a thing. I don't know. And we do intend to throw in a couple of lives They won't be the regular time or the regular day. So again, the bell is your best option to get notifications of when we go live or when I put something new up. Of course, with the bell on YouTube, it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Okay, moving right along then. YouTube channel of the week. I love this guy's YouTube channel for a variety of reasons. He is extremely creative, not in the sense that he makes quilts or he does do 3D printing, but he invents things and he invents the craziest things. And so the channel is called Unnecessary Inventions. This week's YouTube channel comes from a crazy guy who's very, very smart, and it's called Unnecessary Inventions. And this guy creates these challenges to make things that don't exist, and a lot of them are very, well, just crazy, but really fascinating to watch how he does it. He obviously has a background in engineering. He knows how to use AutoCAD programs really, really well, which is something I wish I could do. And he has a whole slew of bamboo printers in his print farm. Even his studio, his videos are worth watching just to see his studio because it's incredible. He does all kinds of crazy things though, like I invented a candy dispenser iPhone case. Testing counterfeit versions of my inventions. I built a mini bed that charges my Apple devices, etc. And you can see here in the pictures that he's got a lot of really weird looking things, like his office chair as a seesaw. He tried building an actually useful inventions. Again, he says in this one he's built something that keeps track of his day, what he's been doing. He made a box that looks like a Happy Meal to order randomly things from McDonald's. And it goes on and it goes on. I find him absolutely fascinating. His videos are visually well done. They're well prepared. And it's just really boggles the imagination as to what he can come up with and what he can create. So if you like that kind of thing, you're going to like Unnecessary Inventions. Okay, so you will find a link for Unnecessary Inventions in the show notes below. You'll find links to my free patterns. You will find links for my friends' channels. And you will find links for last week's videos as well. Lots of links, lots of links. And I just noticed something. My God, the sun is streaming in on one side, and I'm a little later this morning recording this. And so the sun is streaming into the window off to my left-hand side, and so is the dust. I just dusted this room. I just did it all. And I'm seeing these little specks of dust. I don't know if you can see them or not, going by the screen. No, it is not snowing in here. And I do clean and dust regularly. But oh my God, I've never really noticed how bad this is. Well, I'm not dusting anymore. Not till we get home. So they can amuse themselves in a corner. Okay, so that takes me to what's outside today, how the weather is looking. So it looks like it's going to be a really nice day. The sun is shining, as I already mentioned before. That's why I'm seeing dust bunnies. And the trees are leafing out a lot right now. So when we get home, they'll be in full bloom, I'm sure. The grass is looking nice. I think Walter did a little grass cutting yesterday, and he's already put mulch on the garden at the front. You can see off to the right side. So, yep, summer is just around the corner. By the time we get home, it'll be pretty much more like summer. So, right now, though, temperature-wise, it's only 7 degrees C, but with a high of 23. Not a cloud in the sky until this evening, and yeah, so at the time that we fly out, it's looking like it's going to be nice. So yeah, and well, the forecast here for the next week is looking rainy. Tuesday 70%, Wednesday 70%, Thursday 45%, Friday 55%, Saturday 45%, Sunday 40%. Okay, so just for fun, let's take a look and see if I can find what the current weather is like in Holland. So we'll just put that in. Okay, so currently in Holland right now, it is nice and sunny. It's 22 degrees C, so that's very comfortable with a high of 24. So that's nice. And all day today, it is sunny. And tomorrow it is sunny. And Wednesday it is sunny with a little cloud cover. Thursday, sunny with a little cloud cover. Friday, sunny. Saturday, Sunday, sunny. Monday, sunny. Tuesday, oops, where'd that go? I don't want that up there. Tuesday, sunny with a little cloud cover. Wednesday, sunny. Wow. Temperatures ranging from a high of 24, actually from a high of about 19, 18 to 24. Oh, let us hope that this keeps up, because that'll be just ideal. But, you know, weather, it can change at a drop of a hat. And I'm not sure about how it is in Holland, but yeah. But anyways, that's very optimistic. And I'm very happy that today's weather is looking really good, because, you know, nobody likes to fly somewhere if it's miserable outside, you know. So I guess we don't have to worry about anything like snow, hopefully. It is Canada. You never know, but nothing in the forecast. So looks like it's clear sailing ahead. Okay, so that's all very good. So what is pissing me off this week? I was talking about flying. Well, I'm not afraid of flying, and I'm fine once I'm in the air. What I am afraid of flying is airplane food. Never good. Although that's not true. Last time we were on a flight when we went to Australia, the food wasn't too bad. So maybe they're getting better. I don't know. I hope. I don't know what they're going to serve us tonight, because, you know, will they serve us a late dinner or an early brekkie? I don't know. And snacks in between. The flight's about 7 hours, 7.5. So, you know, I compare all flights now to when we flew to Australia, because Australia is 22 hours. 7 hours, drop of the hat. Yeah. And I'm hoping I can sleep a little bit, although Walter's on the aisle and I'm in the middle seat. Yeah, so I'm not happy about that. I wasn't thinking about that. I don't know what was going through my head, thinking that we had like 2 seats and that was it. But yeah, of course it would be 3. My luck, it'll be some great big fat guy who snores, falls asleep, and I'll wake up and he'll have his head on my shoulder. His greasy head on my shoulder. Yeah. But anyways, I'll just try to have a couple of glasses of wine and sleepy poo. Yeah, go out. But anyways, yeah, so back to what pisses me off about airplanes, though, about flying, is the airport. Ugh. Now, I have to say, last time it was pretty smooth, and we were impressed with Air Canada. First of all, it's finding Air Canada at the Pearson International Airport outside of Toronto. Because I don't know, maybe it's just me in my memory, but it always seems it's in a different location, and you got to find it. And it's a huge airport, so you're walking for days. The other thing is getting your bags checked. So you go to those kiosks, right? And kiosks don't like me. They see me coming, they shut down. But having said that, we have all the electronic documents and everything that we need. We have our passports and whatnot. It should be fairly easy to go up to one of those kiosks, plug in our passports, bang, bang, get our tickets, bang, bang, get our baggage check ticket, and take it over to the counter, drop it on the conveyor belt and say bye-bye to it and hope it gets to the Netherlands. And then we go through security. Now, security. Okay. Will there be a huge lineup? Will it take forever? Now, they did have, the last time we were at the airport, last couple of times, I think, they, you could sort of book a time to go through. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. Although, mind you, we booked a time, but we were there beforehand and we just walked right through, no problem. And the security people were very nice, very friendly. Not used to that. No. So I don't know, maybe there's a new attitude. Maybe they're trying to make this part of the journey more enjoyable, I would think, but I don't know about that. I maybe just got lucked out that time. Hope I luck out again. The big question comes is, do I have to take off my shoes? They never tell you until you get up there. So You anticipate that you're going to have to take off your shoes, so you take off your shoes. You're in your sock feet. You're standing there. Oh, no one else has got their shoes off. I'm only one with my shoes off for some reason. And then they don't say a word. Or I get up there, everybody else has their shoes on. The two people ahead of me go through. They don't say anything to them. They look at me and they go, shoes. I am prepared for this because I bought new Skechers, as I told you a few weeks ago, which are slip-ons, and they slip on really easily. The other thing is, do I or do I not have to take off my belt? Well, we usually do. Yeah, I'm an old man. Belts are important to us. What happens when you take off an old man's belt? His pants fall down around his ankles, and I am no exception to the rule. So I'm standing there trying to hold my pants up and got my little backpack. Well, it'll be a little backpack this time on with me, and yeah, away you go. Then you stand on the other end of that thing, the x-ray machine or whatever, and you wait for the stuff to come out. But before you do that, you get the pleasure of going through the, the Stargate sort of thing. And yeah, I go through it, and I've taken my watch off. I've taken my cell phone out of my pocket. I've taken my belt off. I have my shoes off. I don't have a jacket on. There's nothing in my pockets. Everything's cleared out, and it'll go off. Then they go, and you take 3 steps back, sort of like a board game. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and they get out the stick and go, woo, 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 woo. And then they just look at it and go. Now, there have been a few occasions when I've gone through, and then they say, okay, hold out your hands. Oh, you're going to give me a gift? No, and they have this little paddle thing, and they're on my hands. I asked once, years ago, what that was for, and they said, oh, just to make sure you haven't been handling any material that could be made into a bomb. Okay. Or somebody told me once they're sniffing you for drugs. Okay. I mean, I always come out clean, but you never know anymore, and they're always looking at you like they've already assumed you are a criminal. Yeah, and that's unnerving. But once I get through all of that, and then we find our gate, usually we'll go and we'll have something to eat, usually have a beer, too, and wait for the plane. And then I look at the people and I go, oh my God, are you getting on the same flight as us? I don't know. Hope I'm not sitting next to you. So you play the who's the third game. Who's going to be sitting in that third seat where we're sitting, and will I like them? What kind of person are they going to be? Are they going to be a yapper? Are they going to be stone cold silent? Are they going to ooze over the arms of the chair? Yeah, people, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of big people out in the world. And some of them need to buy 2 seats. Instead of trying to cram all that into one little seat. And it's like oozing over the armrest. And it's oozing onto my leg and on my shoulder and into my lap. And it just oozes all over the place. Yeah. Very uncomfortable. And then you'll hear it. You're sitting in the plane. And they're usually right behind you. And they're leaning forward when they cough. And it's going through the crack between the seats. And I'm thinking, oh my God, should I dig out a mask or should I not? We've had the COVID shot. We just got our booster a week and a half ago, so we're good to go. But it's even a common cold, kind of a thing. I don't want anything. I want to get off that plane and go, hello, Holland, I am here. You will notice I interchange Holland and the Netherlands. They should be called the Netherlands. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. I get really uptight. Now, one thing that helps to alleviate my uptightness, besides booze, is how we're getting to the airport. See, in the old days, before we figured this out, we would drive to the airport, park the car, pay a huge amount of money for parking the car, depending on how long you were gone for. Of course, you were always worried when you came home, will the car still be there? because, car theft, that's the thing. And now we always take the limo. Yeah, it costs, and I call it a limo because they call it a limo. It's a car. It's a nice car, but it's not really a limousine, okay? They call it a limo service, the company. Anyways, that is so much nicer. Somebody else is doing the driving, professional. They know where you're going, and drops us right off at the terminal front entrance, and away we go. So that's one less worry. And the same thing when we're coming home, they come and pick us up. So that's one less worry. But yes, I'm probably a little paranoid and I'm probably worried too much, but I do not enjoy. This is the part about flying that I do not enjoy. As I said, once I'm settled on the plane, once we're in the air, once they're coming around with bar service, and whether they do that much these days or not, I don't know. I like to get those little tiny bottles of wine that they come around. I'll plug in my earbuds and watch whatever movie's on there or something, and maybe I'll be able to sleep. I'm kind of hoping I will be able to, because otherwise we get to Holland, into Amsterdam at 11 a.m. their time, and yeah, I will be having a little jet lag because I got up at 5:30 this morning. I get up every morning at 5:30. But by about 9:30 at night, I'm like, so yeah. And that's okay. If I can sleep for a while, that makes the trip go further or shorter, makes it seem shorter and the whole bit. Of course, the other problem is you just fall asleep. They decide they're going to serve you something and they come and wake you up. Yeah. So, and I can't help but think that flight attendants, that's just one of their little perks, gives them a little chuckle to do that, wake somebody out of a deep sleep on one of these overseas overnight flights. Yeah. Well, can you blame them? It's not an easy job. And oh yeah, and I always hope when I'm on the airplane too that just before we're about to take off, there isn't some nut job making a scene and they have to turn the plane around and you have to deboard. Oh, please no. Please no. So, yeah. Well, you'll hear all about it whenever we do our first vlog from Amsterdam. Okay, so that's what's pissing me off. All right, and what's going on here? My watch is ringing. Okay, so let's talk about our plants, shall we? Are they going to survive while we're away? So let me show you a picture of what they look like right at the moment. Here you go. Okay, notice there's no dead growth in there. Walter cleaned out all of these grow lights, the 2 grow lights, and replanted. So when we come home, we should have some lettuce and basil, and I don't know what else he planted, if he planted anything else like peppers or not, should all be popping up from that. So that'll be something nice to come home to. And here's the jungle. This is our tomato plants, still doing well. Walter's talking about when we come home, we'll probably get started on the container garden. And he says he might put a couple of these peppers out in the container garden just to see how they will do. I don't know what he has planned. That's his domain. The gardening is his domain. I kill anything I touch. Now, my philodendrons this morning all got a really good drink, and they should be fine. They might look a little wilty when we come home, but yeah, I only usually water them every other week anyways. But they're philodendrons. Philodendrons can survive almost anything. So I don't usually kill them. But yep, that's how things are growing right now. Okay, so what's that take me to? New products. Really haven't bought anything, obviously. I didn't want to put anything on order and take a chance that it would arrive while we were in Holland. So, you don't want an Amazon package or something like that sitting on your front doorstep. I mean, we could ask the neighbors, if they see anything to take it into their place, and they would. But I don't want to put any more onus on the neighbors, kind of a thing. Because our neighbors are a little older than we are. So, yeah. Although, our next door neighbor, he has said he would cut our grass while we were gone, which is very, very nice of him. So yeah, I said to Walter, Walter said, well, I'll just have him cut the front lawn. And I says, yeah, don't let him go down the back lawn trying to get a lawnmower down in the back. Poor guy will have a heart attack. You know. So that's very nice of them to offer to do that for us. Okay, so we bought nothing. Yeah, well, I was looking at trial size products. I swear, the selection of trial size products for travel in places now, very, very little to choose from on it. And they don't have trial size prices anymore. Remember, you used to go in and get for 50 cents a bottle, a little tiny thing of deodorant or something like that, or shampoo? No, not anymore. They're almost the price of a regular full-size one. In fact, a full-size one, if you were comparing it price-wise, is a better option. But the thing is, when you're traveling, you don't want to lug the big things, do you? So, yeah, we will survive. Okay, so can I print this 3D effing thing? Well, I'll show you what I have printed. And these are cute. These are really cute. These are little key fobs or bag fobs. Now, the bigger version you can see there, and then these little tiny guys, I think they're really cute. My idea is I might want to try to design a series of different types of keychain bag fobs / bag fobs, you know, to hang off the side of bags that I make or things like that. So I've been playing around with these, but I think these are cute little guys, and they're articulated, so they'll wiggle around a little bit. And I haven't got a picture of it, but because it just came off the 3D printer this morning, but I found a little display for Amsterdam. It's got a windmill and a couple of those iconic houses that they have in Amsterdam, the tall, narrow ones. And they take a little tea light, a little battery-operated tea light behind each one. So I'll probably show those to you when I get back. But I just thought it'd be, you know, I'm not buying any real souvenirs. I mean, we've been to Amsterdam before, many years ago now. 21 years ago was last time we were there. I hear it's still there, though. And, you know, I've got a little windmill that sits on my little travel, little mini village kind of display that I've talked about before that I have upstairs. But when I came across these by accident, and I thought, well, that might be kind of nice to make as a memory of our trip kind of a thing. So yeah, if I think about it when we get back, I'll try to show you what that looks like. And that's about it on the 3D printer. It's been relatively quiet this week. Okay, so that takes me to old video clips from S&W Live. And on this one, we talk about sex, deviants, and LGBTQ. So anyways, where was that all leading to?
Anyway.
Okay, time out. Okay, let's move on to sex. Okay, and I don't mean ours. I'm talking about, oh, nice face. Jeez. What's been really annoying in the last week, 2 weeks, is all this scandal out of Hollywood where, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein?
Weinstein, yeah.
Whatever. And then Kevin Spacey, all, you know, doing things.
And all the others, now a comedian, I can't remember, C.K. Lewis or something.
Yeah, C.K. Lewis. Or Louis C.K.
Or something. No,
how is it? I don't know. You know what gets my goat is I don't care. Why is this being the top story? It must be slow weeks for news, because this is the top story on the news stations here in Canada about all these scandals in Hollywood. They've always been doing that. Yes, I don't think they should be doing it. I don't think that they should be pushing themselves upon young actresses or actors.
Using their influence or stuff like that. But it's happened in the world for years and years and years. And
doesn't make it right.
What annoys me is that people are coming up where this has happened 30 years ago. And it wasn't necessarily an actual, maybe, I don't know the circumstances, but it seems to me that some of them were just advance or something like
They're
that.
trying to get
right?
their name out there. Like the one guy.
Like, I mean, there's ones that are probably truly legitimate complaints, right? And then there's ones that it almost seems like they're trying to get their name in the public. Just to yes, it
well, there's no
occurred,
such
but-
thing as bad PR.
Yeah.
So, but that one guy that was 14 years old that Kevin Spacey supposedly got up on top
I
of.
don't doubt that Kevin Spacey's a complete
perv.
pervert, but
what I've got to get, I like Kevin Spacey's as an actor. Watch House of Cards, seen him in many movies. I really like Kevin Spacey. I could see though how he can be a dick. I mean, out of it all. But then he's on. Now, when I first heard this,
when we first heard the first story about Anthony Rapp, I think his name's Anthony Rapp.
Anthony Rapp, yeah.
Anyway, what annoyed me about that first one was that it happened to him when he was 14. But what it was he was alone in Kevin Spacey's apartment at 14 at midnight. Where were his parents?
Yeah.
Where were his parents? Why was a 14-year-old boy allowed in a strange man's apartment?
Yeah.
That annoyed me. But anyway, that's besides the point, and that's all. Like, I mean, then there's all the other stuff that came out, and yeah, basically it's pervert.
Well, what annoys me about the thing with Kevin Spacey is that Kevin Spacey then decided, and everybody already knew, and if you didn't know, you must not know who Kevin Spacey is. Yes, he's gay. That has not been any deep, dark secret. No, he has not officially come out and said, hello, I'm gay, and all this stuff until now. But he comes out on the heels of this. And then the LGBT community all got up in arms because they're saying, and at first I didn't understand this, but now I do understand it.
Yeah.
He comes out on this and it says, okay, now we're associating someone who's a potential pedophile with the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
And we have fought that link for a long, long time because gay men are not pedophiles any more so than a straight man is a pedophile. I mean, it's a sickness.
I mean, there's people that are straight that are pedophiles, and I'm sure there's gay people that are pedophiles.
Yeah,
I'm not, but like there's in all of society. But he's sort of associating himself being a pedophile with being gay, so which is really annoying.
A better term for him would be pervert.
Pervert.
Out of it, and he can't keep it in his pants. I mean, really, grow up. At your age, you should know better. Out of it all. However, I'm sick and tired of hearing about all this crap.
Too.
Like, there's better news out there. And someone in here said, I think it was, it's Anita. She says, "Oh Lord, here in the States we have so much going on. I can't even watch news anymore." And Dorothy says, "I agree, Walter." And Anita says, "We have a man running for office in Alabama who's even worse." Well, it is Alabama. And Dorothy says, "You're absolutely right, Stephen." You know, the thing is this. In the gay world, we have fought long and hard to do what we're doing right now. Right now, not making any excuses for the fact that we happen to be gay men and we have a YouTube channel. I'm not on a soapbox trying to convert the world over to being gay or anything like that. It doesn't matter. We're just people like everybody else. But we fought long and hard to get here with it. Then you want to put us back a decade? Get somebody like Spacey, who's been doing whatever he's doing just because he's a sexual, and I would call him a sexual deviant, okay? A predator. He's a sexual predator. That is different, okay? It's still not good, but he's a sexual predator because apparently he has groped somebody. Now, of course, you got to take everything with a grain of salt that comes through the media. You know, I don't know, Trump says fake news. Well, let's call it embellished news. You know, if it bleeds, it leads.
Enhanced news so that it makes
it makes money.
I mean, it's just like when we get a snowstorm here. Sometimes it's the
storm of the century.
We've had and actually, this week when it was when we had the storm supposedly.
Hi, Shelley.
Supposedly that we had this week. It was a Thursday night, and they made on the news that it was going to be this roads were going to be really bad, blah blah blah, and all sorts of stuff. I went to the gym that night; it was empty. Nobody was on the roads. Nobody was in the stores because the news had sensationalized. That's where it sensationalized it so much that it made a lot of people scared to go out at night. And the roads were fine. I was out till about 10 o'clock at night, and it was fine.
Well, just this whole thing with Spacey, with Weinstein, whatever, and there's been other ones.
And I'm sure there's more going to be come out.
And it's all coming out. Yeah, I don't think it's
right. One thing that I think a lot of things that people are complaining about is these people have power, like politicians. The perceived power anyway. I never ever thought actors really had power over me anyway, but famous people like actors, they're just people.
They're just actors. They do not solve world hunger. They do not change the price of rice in China. They do not bring about world peace. They are actors there for our entertainment. They are not gods. In fact, most of them are not even sensational individuals who have done anything on this planet that has made the planet progress.
The only thing is you know their name because you see them in movies.
Yeah, but
right?
I'm not a fan. So
you don't know who necessarily the president of a huge corporation like 3M. Does anybody know who the president of 3M is?
Yeah.
Or some other corporation? Yeah, they're probably more affluent than any of these actors are.
And Anita says, yes, I understand. All these stories just make humanity look bad. They do. But you know what is worse? If we buy into them. That's what makes humanity look bad. If we are so easily sucked in, then you might as well give us all the middle name Trump. Because that's exactly what is happening with Trump.
Anyway.
What do you mean, anyway?
No. Okay, so yeah.
But whatever. But I don't know. But it's just been driving me nuts. But it's been driving.
I'm getting sick of these. Every time you turn on the TV, it's somebody else.
Well, I'm just trying to back up here for the whole point I was trying to make that you went way over there.
All right, fine.
Is the whole thing about the gay community with it. See, this puts us back in time again because those those asinine things that are in Alabama and down in the southern United States who the Bible thumping, conversion therapist kind of ones there. This just works into their case. Oh, all gays are pedophiles. All gays are deviants and all this stuff.
And that takes me to events in the past week. Well, really the only events in the past week have been us packing or getting things organized for the trip. My travel agent has all our paperwork together and has where we're staying and what we're going to see and everything. And when I say my travel agent, put it back up here, I mean Walter. I have no idea where we're going. I know I'm so blind, but he looks after it all. He loves doing this. It's like me organizing a virtual retreat or other things that I do in quilting. For him, organizing a trip. He loves doing it. He did say at one point in time he thought he should have, after he retired, should have got into the travel business. Good thing he didn't because the bottom has dropped out of that for travel agents. But he's really good at doing the research and I'm never disappointed. So, whatever. I just sit back and I say, okay, it's Tuesday. What are we doing today? He tells me the itinerary and off we go. So, yeah. Is there anything specifically I want to see or do when we're over there? Nope. And this trip's really for Walter. This is, well, sad to say, but we may never get over there again, like to the Netherlands. And Walter's parents were Dutch. He was born here, but his sisters were born in Holland. So, yeah. For him, it's going down maybe, it's that nostalgia, but a nostalgia, he doesn't have a lot of memories of his grandparents. I mean, he was a little kid. A few times they went over for a visit, but one time was when he was 3 years old. And he says he doesn't really remember much about that trip. And then I think the next time he might have been a little older. He might have been maybe 9 or 10 or something like that. So, yeah. We're not going over to visit any relatives because actually most of his relatives are dead or he has never met. Cousins or that kind of thing. So, you know, they're complete strangers. So, yeah, but I think it's the atmosphere, it's his roots, his ancestry, that kind of thing. And I'm just going along for the ride. Yep. And it's going to be a great trip once we get there. Yeah. So, yep, that's what we've been putting most of our energy into in the past week. So, nothing else to tell you today. I've got to get back to getting things together and finish up my packing and all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, stay tuned for later in this week and next week for any videos that we put up about our excursions and our thrills and our adventures in the Netherlands. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.